We often live like eternity is just a mystery, like heaven is some distant dream where nothing happens and time disappears into clouds and choirs. But let me tell you something today, and I need you to hear it not just with your ears, but with your spirit. Heaven is not the end of your purpose. It is the beginning of your forever assignment. You weren't created just to survive this life and then vanish into stillness. You were created with purpose, with power, with an eternal destiny. And that destiny doesn't expire. It evolves into something greater. You see, the Word of God tells us in Luke 19:17, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful in little, I will make you ruler over much." That's not just encouragement. That's a kingdom reality. You are being prepared right now for responsibility in heaven. Yes, you will have work to do, but it won't feel like work. No stress, no fatigue, no anxiety, just divine alignment. In heaven, your responsibility will match your true identity. You'll serve without growing weary. You'll lead without ego. You'll create without fear. This life is your training ground. How you love, how you serve, how you endure, how you give. It's all being recorded, and not just for reward, but for eternal assignment. You won't just enter heaven. You will inherit responsibility in God's eternal kingdom. You'll be trusted with more. Why? Because you were faithful with little. Your faithfulness here qualifies you for authority there. You think heaven is about floating in bliss? No, heaven is about ruling with Christ. 2 Timothy 2:12 says, "If we endure, we shall also reign with him." This is not a metaphor. This is your future. He's raising up leaders, creators, builders, worshipers, problem solvers, not just for earth, but for eternity. So stop living like this is all there is. Start living like everything you do matters, because in God's eyes, it does. This world may overlook you, but heaven is watching, and when the trumpet sounds, when time gives way to eternity, the King of Kings will call you forward, not just to rest, but to reign. So rise now, lead now, serve now, love now, because what you do today echoes in forever. And when you stand before him, you won't just hear, "Well done," you'll hear, "Now I trust you with more." Heaven is not the end of your purpose. It is the beginning of your eternal assignment. Heaven is not the end of your purpose. It is the beginning of your eternal assignment. For too long, we've imagined heaven as a place of endless rest, a destination where all we do is sing and float on clouds, where life slows to a quiet whisper of praise. But that image doesn't even begin to capture the truth of what God has planned. Heaven is not the finale. It's the opening chapter of everything you were truly created to become. Your purpose doesn't expire. When your heart stops beating, it transcends the grave. It rises with glory. It continues into eternity, with new meaning, greater responsibility, and unimaginable fulfillment. You weren't created just to live, die, and disappear into the memory of time. You were made in the image of God, and that means you were made for purpose, without end. The same God who designed galaxies, who placed gifts and vision inside you, didn't do it for 70 or 80 years. He did it with eternity in mind. The work you're doing now, the love you give, the faith you walk in, the truth you live by, it's all training ground. God is shaping you, preparing you, stretching you, so that when the trumpet sounds and you cross over into glory, you don't arrive empty. You arrive ready. Ready for what? Ready to reign, ready to serve, ready to walk in divine responsibility. That's not tainted by fear, fatigue, or frustration, but fueled by joy, wholeness, and power. Heaven is a kingdom, and in every kingdom, there are roles, there is structure, there is leadership. Revelation 22:5 says, "And they will reign forever and ever." That they is you. That reign is not symbolic, it's literal. You won't just be in heaven, you'll have purpose in heaven, and that purpose will be greater than anything you ever imagined on earth. When Jesus said, "Well done, good and faithful servant," he didn't stop with praise, he followed it with promotion. "You have been faithful over little. I will make you ruler over much." That means this life isn't just about surviving, it's about proving your faithfulness. Because in the next life, God will entrust you with more. Heaven is not a vacation, it's a vocation. But don't mistake that for toil. This is not work as we know it. This is eternal fulfillment. This is living in the complete expression of your gifts, your calling, your identity, all without pain, pressure, or pride. In heaven, everything broken will be healed, everything lost will be restored, and everything unclear will make perfect sense. You will serve God with full joy, full strength, and full clarity. You'll explore realms of creativity, lead with wisdom beyond human understanding, and live in perfect harmony with God's will. No envy, no ego, no exhaustion, just eternal purpose in the presence of eternal love. So don't live like this. Life is all there is. Don't let temporary struggles make you forget the eternal reward. What you're doing today, your kindness, your perseverance, your sacrifice, it's preparing you for something far greater. God is watching. He sees your faithfulness when no one else does. And He's storing up not just treasures, but trust. Trust that will turn into responsibility in His kingdom. Heaven isn't the end of your purpose. It's the beginning of your forever assignment. So walk with purpose now. Live with eternity in your heart. Because the life to come is not one of rest alone. It is one of righteous rule, glorious responsibility, and divine joy forever. Earth is the training ground for eternal responsibility. Earth is the training ground for eternal responsibility. Every step you take, every choice you make, every moment you decide to live in obedience or disobedience, faith or fear, is preparing you for something far greater than this temporary life. We often think of life as a series of moments we just have to get through. Get the job, pay the bills, survive the week. But in the eyes of God, your life is more than a timeline. It's a proving ground, a divine classroom, a spiritual boot camp where your character is shaped, your faith is refined, and your readiness for the kingdom is tested. The Bible tells us over and over that what we do now echoes into eternity. Jesus Himself said in Luke 16:10, "Whoever is faithful with little will also be faithful with much." That much isn't just referring to material wealth or earthly promotion. It's pointing to a kingdom reality. Your eternal responsibility in heaven will be tied to how you carried yourself on earth. Were you faithful in private? Did you serve when no one was watching? Did you love your enemies? Did you steward your gifts, your time, your resources with honor? Because these things matter more than we know. We are not here by accident. We are not simply passing time. We are in preparation. Earth is not the prize, it is the process. And like any good process, it has challenges, it has trials, moments of hardship, and opportunities to quit. But those who endure with faith, those who keep going when it's hard, those who choose purpose over comfort, they are the ones God can trust with more joy, more authority, more glory. Not just in this life, but in the next. Too many people live for applause, for validation, for visible success. But heaven is not looking for the popular, it's looking for the faithful. The ones who say yes when it's inconvenient. The ones who serve when it's thankless. The ones who keep believing even when the blessings seem delayed. That's the kind of heart God can trust, not just with influence here, but with authority in the life to come. God is not just trying to bless you, He's trying to build you. He's not just opening doors, He's developing discipline. He's not just answering prayers, He's preparing your character. Because in heaven, you won't be resting in luxury. You'll be operating in leadership. You'll be trusted with divine responsibilities, eternal roles that require integrity, humility, and faith. The kind of qualities that are forged here on earth. So don't despise the struggle. Don't resent the process. Everything you're going through now is shaping you for the next dimension. The way you respond to trials, how you treat people, how you guard your heart, how you stand firm in your convictions, all of it matters. God is paying attention to the details you think are overlooked. You're not just surviving life, you're in training for eternity. Every test you pass in faith, every mountain you climb in obedience, every time you choose to forgive instead of retaliate, heaven takes note. Because God is preparing rulers, not just residents. He's preparing leaders, not just worshipers. Your trials are not in vain. Your growth is not invisible. Your obedience is not forgotten. This is not the finish line. This is the gym, the forge, the training ground. And one day, when you stand before God, He won't just say, "Welcome home." He'll say, "Well done. I've seen your training. Now step into your eternal assignment." That is what you were made for. So live with intention, fight the good fight, finish the race. Because earth is the proving ground for the glory that's coming. Luke 19:17 reveals the reward of faithfulness, eternal authority. Luke 19:17 reveals the reward of faithfulness, eternal authority. This verse doesn't just encourage us, it unveils a kingdom principle that echoes throughout eternity. In this parable, Jesus speaks of a servant who was faithful with a small assignment, a simple task, yet his reward wasn't just praise, it was promotion. Well done, good servant. Because you have been faithful in a very little, you shall have authority over 10 cities. That one verse changes everything. It tells us that what we do now, what seems small, insignificant, or unnoticed, is shaping our eternal future. It's not about fame or fortune here, it's about faithfulness now, that leads to authority later. You may feel like your life is ordinary. You may think your acts of obedience, your unseen kindness, your quiet perseverance don't matter. But in the eyes of God, those very things are the foundation of your eternal authority. God is watching how you manage the little things, your time, your relationships, your integrity, because those are the tests that prepare you for something far greater than this world can offer. Heaven is not a place of passivity. It's not an eternal vacation where your purpose disappears. It's a place where your true role is finally revealed. You weren't created just to survive. You were created to reign. And that reign is not earned through popularity or position, but through consistency, character, and faithfulness. God doesn't promote based on public image. He promotes based on private integrity. Think about that servant in Luke 19. He wasn't given a city because he was talented. He wasn't given authority because he was liked by the crowd. He was entrusted with leadership because he did well with what he was given. That's how the kingdom works. Your destiny is not determined by how much you have. It's determined by what you do with what you have. Faithfulness is not glamorous. It means showing up when no one sees. It means choosing discipline over comfort. It means saying yes to God again and again, even when it's hard. But every moment of faithfulness is adding weight to your eternal crown. You're not just being obedient for today. You're building authority for tomorrow. Real authority. Eternal responsibility in the kingdom of heaven. The world teaches us that power is taken, but the kingdom teaches us that power is entrusted, and God only entrusts power to those he can trust. Faithfulness proves trust. When you're faithful in obscurity, God knows you can be trusted with influence. When you're faithful with a little, God knows you can handle more. And when that moment comes, when time ends and eternity begins, your reward will not just be access to heaven, it will be access to divine authority. You may be in a season right now that feels small. You may be serving, giving, enduring, and wondering if it even matters. But don't you dare give up, because every seed you plant in faith is preparing your future in the kingdom. Every time you choose obedience, God is watching. Every time you stay the course, God is writing it down. And when you stand before him, your faithfulness will speak louder than your failures. Luke 19:17 is not just a verse, it's a promise. Your faithfulness today sets the stage for your leadership tomorrow. Your loyalty now unlocks your legacy forever. So serve with joy, walk in purpose, stay faithful, even when it's hard, because the King is coming, and he's bringing with him not just salvation, but assignments, cities, crowns, and eternal positions of influence. You were made for more than this moment. You were made to reign. God doesn't reward popularity. He rewards faithfulness. God doesn't reward popularity. He rewards faithfulness. In a world where being seen often seems more valuable than being sincere, where likes and followers are mistaken for purpose and power, this truth stands like a solid rock. God is not impressed by how loud your platform is, or how many people applaud you. He is moved by the quiet, consistent obedience of those who choose him, when no one else is watching. While the world chases attention, heaven watches for faithfulness. We live in an age of performance. It's easy to get caught up in the race for recognition, to measure our worth by how much we're noticed, celebrated, or praised. But God doesn't operate on the world's scale of success. He doesn't scroll through your highlight reel. He looks at your heart. He looks at the times you kept going, when it would have been easier to quit. He looks at the nights you prayed through tears, the days you served in silence, and the moments you chose righteousness over reward. That's what gets heaven's attention. Faithfulness is not flashy. It's not always celebrated or seen. It's waking up every day, and choosing to walk in purpose, even when the path is hard. It's choosing truth over trend. It's showing up when no one else does. Faithfulness is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about giving God your yes, not just once, but again and again, in the highs and in the lows, when it's easy, and especially when it's hard. There are people with massive platforms who will never hear well done, and there are those who never made a name for themselves, but will wear crowns in eternity. Why? Because God doesn't reward crowds. He rewards commitment. He doesn't count your followers. He weighs your faithfulness. Jesus said in Matthew 6:1, "Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others, to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven." That's a wake-up call. It tells us clearly that heaven and earth have different value systems. What impresses people doesn't always impress God. You don't have to go viral to make an impact in the kingdom. You don't have to be famous to be favored. You just have to be faithful. Because while people see your image, God sees your effort. While they hear your words, He watches your walk. You could be raising children, working a 9 to 5, ministering in quiet corners, praying in secret places, and God sees it all, and He will reward it all. The Bible says in Hebrews 6:10, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown Him. So don't be discouraged if you feel overlooked. Don't let the lack of applause make you question your calling. Your value isn't in how many people follow you. It's in how closely you follow Christ. Be faithful in the field He's given you. Be faithful in the relationships, the responsibilities, the resources He's placed in your hands. Keep loving, keep giving, keep believing. Because in the kingdom of God, faithfulness is the currency of promotion. One day, the lights will fade, the crowds will move on, the trends will shift, but your record in heaven will remain. And when you stand before God, He won't ask how famous you were. He'll ask how faithful you were. And if you've been walking with Him in truth, you'll hear the words that matter more than any applause ever could. Well done, good and faithful servant. That's the only reward that lasts forever. So live for that. Be faithful, not flashy. God is watching, and His reward is eternal.